Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome back on this beautiful day outside. You guys might think I'm a little crazy today, but does anybody know why I'm wearing these sunglasses? Well, I am wearing these shades today because not only of the beautiful weather that we have outside, but also because our topic of discussion today is none other than the sun. Who here likes to play outside in the sun? In the nice sun outside, it's very fun. Well, the sun gives off visible light as well as two types of light that cannot be seen. Do you guys remember learning about that in your science class? I talked to your science teacher and she said you guys already know a little bit about this. The sun can give off ultraviolet rays. There are three types, which include ultraviolet A, also known as UVA, ultraviolet B, also known as UVB, and ultraviolet C, also known as UVC. The first type is ultraviolet A, and ultraviolet A can travel through the atmosphere unfiltered and unabsorbed. Ultraviolet A is less harmful and does not leave a sunburn on you. So that's the kind we like, isn't it, boys and girls? The kind that doesn't leave a sunburn, because those are no fun. The next type of ultraviolet rays we have are ultraviolet B. These are a bit more damaging, and they can cause skin cancer, which is no good either. All right, next we have ultraviolet C, which is the most damaging because it is absorbed in the ozone layer. So ultraviolet C rays are not our friends. I was talking to your science teacher this morning about the sun and everything, and she mentioned some very important facts that include, or she asked me a question about some facts that she asked, what affects UV exposure? So she gave me a very good example of the location that we're in. So being from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, it's a lot different than California sun or New York sun, kind of, because we get a little bit different atmosphere. The time of day also plays a big factor in the effects of UV exposure. The season that we're in, kind of right now we might be in winter, but we should be approaching spring here. The time of day, the sun is most hot from 9 to 3. So when we go outside at 11 usually for our kickball activity and such, we are in the hottest part of the sun, when those ultraviolet rays, A, B, and C rays are really beating down on us. Also, the weather conditions, like we said, are in effect. So, does anybody know, can somebody tell me why UV radiation is good for us? Why it could be a positive thing? Well, the sun gives off lots of vitamin D. Just like you get vitamin C through eating an orange or some type of strawberry, you get vitamin D from things such as milk, but you also get it from the sun outside. So the vitamin D is very good for our bones, and we need it to grow. Also, it's kind of fun just to get out there, have some fresh air, play around in the sun, go to the lake, the pool, whatever you guys like to do in the summer. Can anybody tell me why the ultraviolet rays are bad for you? Elizabeth?
You get sunburned.
Yeah, that's right. Has anybody ever gotten a sunburn before? Has anybody's skin ever turned the color of my sweatshirt? That's no fun, is it? I have actually had a very bad sunburn, and it was not very comfortable to sleep with, and it started to peel. Has that ever happened to any of you boys and girls from the sun? Yeah, that's no fun. So the sun is bad because it can cause sunburn, which can lead to skin cancer, and it can cause heat illness and loss of vision. All right. So moving on to the topic of skin cancer. Skin cancer is the most commonly diagnosed cancer in the United States today. About half of all cancer patients are diagnosed with skin cancer, which is very, very, very sad. But, boys and girls, there are ways to prevent it. Does anybody know how we can prevent skin cancer? Wear sunscreen. That's a very good example. Sunscreen is one of the best ways to protect yourself from the UV rays from the sun. Did you boys and girls know that if you wear SPF 15, it protects you against from 93% of these rays coming down? And if you wear SPF 30, you protect yourself from 97 of the UV rays, or 97%. So that's a lot. So going outside and wearing no sunscreen, protecting yourself against 0, versus wearing some sunscreen and protecting yourself from about 97%. So sunscreen is one of the major ways we can prevent skin cancer as well as sunburns. Another way, let's name 4 major ways. Another way is to wear appropriate clothing, such as the shades I was wearing earlier. If you go outside, these can protect your eyes. You can wear a baseball cap to give you some shade. You can wear clothes such as this so you don't get burned, even though you might be hot. So wearing appropriate clothing such as sunglasses, hats, and more is another way to prevent skin cancer and sunburns. Another way is to limit your sun exposure. So as I mentioned earlier, that the sun is the most hot gives off the most rays from 9 to 3 in the day. So maybe going outside after 3 or something like that would also be a good way. So to limit your sun exposure or limit your time out in the sun to midday. Another way is to play in the shade. So if you were at your little brother's soccer game or football game in the summer and you see a tree, you might want to head over to the tree and play under there to stay cool and to protect yourself from the ultraviolet rays. Okay, so let's review that quick. 4 major ways to prevent skin cancer and sunburns is wearing sunscreen, limiting sun exposure or limit your time of day or time in the sun to midday, wearing appropriate clothing such as hats, sunglasses, and more, and also to play out in the shade. All right, boys and girls, now I am going to give you each a piece of paper, and we are going to take a little quiz. Okay, so can everybody get out a piece of pencil, please? And I want everybody's eyes on their own paper, because we do our own work. Okay, so quiz question number 1. Is everybody ready? Okay. What types of ultraviolet radiation is there? Eyes up when you're done. What types of ultraviolet radiation is there? Question number 2. How is the sun bad for you? You can just give me one answer. How is the sun bad for you? Question 3 is just the opposite. How is the sun good for you? And you can just give me one reason again. How is the sun good for you? Question number 4. Do you remember the most commonly diagnosed type of cancer in the United States? the most commonly diagnosed type of cancer in the United States is? Write it on your paper. All right, final question. How can we prevent skin cancer and sunburns? How do we prevent skin cancer and sunburns? Okay, let's run through the quiz quick before you give it to me as your exit ticket out the door. Pencils down, please, and I'm just gonna, just leave it if you got it wrong. I just want to kind of run through so you guys know. What types of radiation, or what type of ultraviolet radiation is there? There is, like we said, the sun gives off A, B, and C. Ultraviolet A, ultraviolet B, and ultraviolet C. Number 2, how is the sun bad for you? Answers may vary, but it can burn you or give you cancer, kind of was two of the main ones. The next one is, how is the sun good for you? It gives off vitamin D, would be something I was looking for. Number 4, do you remember the most commonly diagnosed cancer in the United States? Does anybody know this one? Elizabeth?
Skin cancer.
Skin cancer, right on. All right, and final question. How do we prevent skin cancer and sunburns? We just went through it. Sunscreen, limit sun exposure, wear hats and appropriate clothing and sunglasses, and play in the shade. So the bell is about to ring, boys and girls, but if you all want to stand up and head to the door, and I will be waiting by the door for your quiz as your exit ticket. All right, thank you, boys and girls. Have a great day.